back to another episode of the Hats Off Podcast.
I'm your host, Liam.
And I'm Noah.
And this week, we took another week off.
Yeah, busy schedule.
It was a weather problem. We had a tornado. Lost a bit of power.
Had to figure out our stuff first.
Yeah, and we also had to come back from a really detrimental Yankees loss.
Yeah, that was a tough one too.
And but
we're back.
So here we are. This week is Alien, directed by Ridley Scott. Fun fact about Ridley Scott that I figured out.
Mm-hmm.
He's one of 3 or 4 directors to have a blockbuster hit in 5 decades.
Really?
Yeah. Alien.
Okay.
Blade Runner.
Okay. Gladiator's probably in there.
Wait, yeah, Gladiator. What's the 90s? Terminator 2.
Okay. He didn't do... No, that was Cameron.
That was Cameron. Sorry, no, it wasn't the 90s. What's the 90s one?
What was his most recent one? The Martian?
The Martian.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's Gladiator in 2000 and then Martian in 2015.
Not Thelma and Louise.
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
I never saw that.
So, yeah, that was the.
So what were the other ones then? Like Spielberg.
Yep, Spielberg.
Kubrick.
Scorsese.
Okay.
I would say Coppola, but he didn't really make it that far.
Yeah. Not Michael Bay.
Nah. I don't know. He started in the 90s.
Yeah. Anyways, so...
Yeah, that's just fun facts. Oh.
So the reason I wanted to do Alien was because, it's hot. It's October. It's like Halloween type of time, scary movies and all that.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people regard Alien as one of the first true horror movies.
Mm.
Or as and if you look at a lot of polls on the internet, Alien is regarded as a horror movie, even though it's a sci-fi movie.
Mm.
And that's one of the reasons why I really like this movie is because if you look at movies like 2001: A Space Odyssey or Star Wars, which are releasing which are space exploration movies that are released in and around the same time as this movie. This movie came out in '79.
Yep.
I like how this movie focused on the horror aspect of it,
right.
of space and the unknown.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I would agree that this is more of a horror than a science fiction primarily because of the way that they shoot it. Say, for example, that they were trying to do science fiction-y. I mean, they would really focus on more of the tech and more of the space scenes outside of the ship. They would show the alien more because they wanted to flesh out out of this world type situations. They did take a while on the alien spaceship when they were where it was the crash landing site.
Yeah,
which is fine, which is good. But in Star Wars, they wouldn't primarily be okay. We're gonna put Chewie in the dark spots of the screen, and we don't want people to see him. We want him, and in comparison, we want to flesh out all the alien characters. This one is primarily horror because you barely see it, but it's fucking scary.
It's more of what they don't show.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I think it goes more for the thrilling. Your heart is beating as fast as possible when both the alien is in the room, whether it's in the stomach, whether it's on his face, and whether it's not on the screen.
Yeah.
They're primarily going for that heartbeat rather than really fleshing out. And granted, they ended up doing that because they went Alien 3, Alien vs. Predator, Alien vs. Predator 2, Alien Covenant, and Prometheus.
Yeah,
so they fleshed out the universe.
They've kind of deviated from their origins.
Right.
The recipe that they used to make 2 successful, phenomenal, not only box office hits, but well-received critically movies.
Right. So it's almost like a sellout. For example, they make the first 2 movies, Alien and Aliens, to be these horror aspects.
Which Ridley Scott didn't do Aliens too.
Aliens, the second one. Who was that?
James Cameron.
It was James Cameron. Yeah. So at least they had the same idea for that one.
Yeah.
But once they get to Alien vs. Predator, they're just making action figures and theme parks at that point. They're going commercial and trying to sell out in a way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's what a lot of people's biggest complaint is with like the Star Wars prequels.
Yeah.
Because they introduced thousands of characters that they could
like
make they could make a lot out of.
The like Revenge of the Sith,
Yeah.
Attack of the Clones, not like the newer ones with Rey.
Right. But those are even more.
I mean, it makes sense from
those are more of an insinuation of creating more. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
And after watching this, we can get into this another time. But after watching the sequels, that was their primary focus, is to literally make more money from just fleshing out characters that they had already done. Yeah. You know what I mean? So
I mean, it makes sense though, because of looking at it from like a business or marketing standpoint. You know, exactly. They have to introduce the world to this character, which is the alien itself. Yeah. The xenomorph. And then once the world becomes familiar with it and like it's starting to become like a cultural icon, then they can incorporate it more and show it more in films and merchandise and stuff. So it makes sense. Right. But let's talk about the movie first, because I really want to talk about the movie.
Yep. So, favorite things about it. I mean, I really enjoyed like being on the ship.
Yeah.
Like really like it was. I think Ridley Scott's really influenced by Kubrick because of like the long, like crawling, tracking shots of walking into rooms. Like if you are, I guess we keep comparing it to like a Star Wars. Mm-hmm. You start in the scene and the action's there. And for this situation, you're walking into a scene and they're not even awake yet. Yeah. You know, they're not even woken from hypersleep yet. He's very good at getting you into that world. And once they start to like work the computers and like say mother and they go to like, you know, they press all the buttons and stuff, I feel like I'm there. You know, it's very immersive.
It's like the opening too is like pretty much the same as Star Wars. You know, it opens with a shot of like just the ship just floating through, or just like the stars and everything, and then suddenly the ship comes into frame. Right. And then I do love that like first couple of minutes where it just slowly just the build up of it cuts from deep space to the ship, and then the crew like just an empty ship. Yeah. It's like even the ship itself is in hypersleep. Right. And then just the slow build up, like you said, it's a very immersive experience as as a viewer.
Yeah, exactly. And I like I said, influenced by Kubrick, but specifically 2001. Yeah. Because those scenes are just, they start you at nothing, and then you walk into it. Yeah. And you're fully experiencing it as if you were like just figuring things out for the first time. Whereas any other sci-fi would be, they'll put you in the middle of a battle, or like for Star Trek, they'll put you in the middle of the engine failure, and you know, you got all those guys trying to fix the problem. So, and that's one thing that you can make at a time where I think people's attention spans were longer. You know what I mean? If this movie came out now, I feel like a lot of people would give it flack for being, it's so slow. Yeah. I mean, we don't even get to see the alien that much. Where's all the action? Which is what a lot of people complain about the new Godzilla movie that Gareth Edwards made, because there wasn't enough Godzilla. Right. And in the sequel, there was too much Godzilla, so you can't really win with audiences now. Yeah, exactly. But I liked one of the things that I was thinking about as the movie went on, was I felt like, and this is tough too, because like this is like this is a movie where I wish I was alive when it came out. Mm-hmm. I wish I was able to experience it like for the first time as everyone else first experienced it. Mm-hmm. Because like you go into it now knowing that like Ellen Ripley is the star of the film, and you know kind of a lot about the movie, but like watching it, like I would make the assumption that Dallas is like the main character, that he's a hero, because like I feel like that a lot of like the first 3/4 of the movie focuses on him. Mm-hmm. So that was one thing that I picked up on. Mm-hmm. And then, I feel like Ellen Ripley was kind of like not even like the secondary character. I feel like she was kind of like in the backdrop until like the very end. Yeah, and she wasn't in the backdrop. She was the only one that was really following protocol. Yeah. So you thought she was just gonna be like the one that was like, we're gonna make this harder for you guys because I want you to stay outside in quarantine. But actually, the fact that she's doing her job foreshadows the fact that she sticks to protocol for the whole time. Yeah. And but one thing I also like is, and I actually forgot while watching, I forgot that Ian Holmes' character. Really? What's his name? Ash. I totally forgot that Ash. You forgot he was a robot? Yeah, like I was watching and I'm like, there's something wrong. I forget. Like I hadn't watched this in like probably 2 or 3 years. Yeah. And so I'm sitting there, I'm like, I totally forget what's going on. And then once he started to bleed white, because that's how Prometheus and Covenant did it. Yeah. I knew there was something wrong, and I thought about. I paused it for a second. I thought about it. And I'm like, okay, they did a really good job of him being like obsessive over the fucking alien.
Yeah.
He was obsessed with it because he was trying to get it back to Earth because that was his only protocol. Get it back up to Earth alive. He didn't want to kill it. He tried to cut it once. Yeah. He showed everybody that it was acid. And then, you know, he even opened the door because he broke protocol.
Yeah, because he had to get it in.
Yeah, so, like, at that point, a robot would never break protocol. So then you knew his protocol is higher than Ripley's. Yeah. You know? So it's just cool to see, like, how a robot would, like, go through that situation knowing that everybody else, the crew is expendable, and he's and the alien's the only thing that really matters.
And that was the same thing with with Covenant.
Yep.
Or Prometheus with Michael Fassbender's character.
Yeah, and I also think it comes back to one of the big themes, which is like class, because a lot of the movie you got the two engineers are complaining about their half share.
Yeah.
And then you go on to find out that even the ones with the full share are still expendable. They're only pawns to get the fucking thing back.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like, all right, if you thought you were the bottom level of the totem pole, you are. But even Ripley and Dallas and all those guys are still only on the mid-level.
Yeah, they're not
because Ash is at the top, and whoever wants the alien to come back, which we end up finding out who that was, right? It was the Guy Pearce character. From Covenant or from Prometheus? Remember that?
He was from Prometheus.
Yeah, was it him? Because he was the one that was trying to like discover the species. He figured out the Promethean species and like how they like were founded.
Yeah,
I think that's who it was. But
I don't know if it was his character specifically in Alien.
Right.
Because
or maybe it was their company.
But it might have been that company, the company that that hired the Nostromo ship to go out. The mining ship.
But yeah, it was a lot of class divides, you know, and like the engineers were even on the bottom level of the ship, so it's like a physical motif there.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah,
did you do you think like when the movie came out, like a lot, like did you think people knew what was gonna happen? Like with the facehugger, do you think that people knew that was going to happen, and then the alien bursting out of the guy's chest?
No, I don't even think the crew knew when that was happening. Like those reactions were real.
Oh, really?
For one scene, they didn't know that was going to happen. So, I think, like we said with Usual Suspects, the marketing that you can do in a time where there's no technology and no social media is extraordinary because. Yeah. You could just say, all right, these people are on a mission to do something in space, and it's going to be a thriller, and that's it. And people are interested because that's honestly going to a movie theater in 1979 was probably one of the best things to do because you're coming off Jaws and you're coming off of Star Wars in '77. You want to get into like big blockbusters and.
I know, dude. This is why this is like a movie I'd want to see, like not knowing anything about it.
Right.
Like there's so many great things about it that if you like see bits and pieces beforehand, it kind of like ruins the experience. Whereas like, if you're seeing it genuine for the first time, start to finish, it'd be like it's an amazing experience.
Right, and I also think like the cast could be like you know they're all pretty early on. I mean Tom Skerritt, you got John Hurt, you got.
Harry Dean
Thornton, and really
Sigourney Weaver,
and Ian Holm.
Yep.
They all go on to have pretty insane careers.
Yeah.
You know, this is early on for them, and it's not like at the time.
This is Sigourney Weaver's career.
Right.
The Alien franchise.
And this, yeah. And another thing is like people aren't going to come out to see them. They're coming out to see like a new blockbuster star movie.
Yeah.
You know, like in space. So.
I guess too. Another attraction to it is, I guess like at the time, there probably wasn't that much knowledge about other like outer space, and it's kind of like more of a newer subject to the world.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess taking that element of like it's already unknown to mankind,
right? And
then making it a horror film is just like a brilliant concept.
Yep. Let's talk about the alien for a second, because I mean, like we said, they flesh out the universe because they go into Aliens, they go into Aliens 3, they go to Alien vs. Predator. and then they go into Covenant. I mean, they go into Prometheus, which is a prequel, and then and Covenant, which is the prequel after that. They were planning on dropping a third, right? Which was a direct prequel that leads right into this one.
I think they probably are still planning.
I think they're still planning. Okay.
I know there was the guy who directed District 9, Neil Blomkamp.
Okay, yeah.
He had his own. He had developed I might have been like a spin-off of this franchise.
Yeah.
Not directly related to this specific storyline, but about like the alien and the xenomorph.
Oh, okay.
And I know that that his film it got chopped because they wanted to go in the direction with Prometheus and Covenant.
Okay.
So.
But yeah, I mean, going back to the xenomorph, like the reason why I brought those other ones up is because it's cool to see how it changed over time, and eventually, this is the beginning of this movie is the end of those. So you can see how it, if you've seen those other ones, you can see how it's kind of transgressed over time and kind of evolved. And like I said in the movie, it's one of those species that's basically indestructible.
Yeah.
It has a perfect defense mechanism with its the acid, the
bleeds acid.
Bleeds acid. I mean, it changes its environment.
Dude, too. Even the one of the last scenes in the movie, like. I mean, I don't want to jump ahead of ourselves, but it didn't board the getaway ship.
Yeah.
To attack her, it boarded her to blend in disguise.
Right. Yeah, that's true.
So we can get into that later.
The head looked like a fucking tube. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, it looked like a tube.
Yeah. Yeah. So the alien is probably one of the scariest things to come out of. I mean, the special effects with it too, just when it is on screen, how dark it is, how
it's barely on screen.
It's barely on screen, which is one of the best parts.
Yeah.
But it's so cool, and the only nitpick I have with it is you could see the human body inside of it. I would want that to be less.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I want that to be I want that to be weirder.
I want it to be a weirder
looker. Yeah.
I guess at the time,
yeah, and it's a puppet. I mean, it's not like it's. But at the same time, knowing now and seeing it in light, I could see that it was a. At the end when she throws it out the window, you could see it kind of floating there. That's my only real thing.
Yeah, and I get the transformation of it from that into Covenant. Yeah. Seeing in Covenant it sprint full speed with its tail wagging behind it.
Yeah,
That's sick.
Yeah, and they probably took that into account and said, all right, let's turn this thing into an alien rather than make it look like a human inside of a. Yeah. So.
I mean, there's got to be one of the most iconic movie characters of all time. Yeah. And it's it's not really portrayed by anyone, but just the alien itself, the xenomorph, it's
right.
I mean, it's probably it's been spoofed on probably Family Guy, South Park, probably Family Guy or The Simpsons.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, it's a dope character.
Yeah. That
they made, or it's a dope. I guess because the concept of an alien itself is just there's so many ways to go with it.
Yep.
So the way they went with it is I think amazing. Really cool.
And not to mention the scene, the ways that it kills. Well, not.
You don't really see.
You don't really see. Which brings me to the point of the. Director's cut version.
Okay.
So Ridley Scott is famous for just editing his movies afterwards. The Blade Runner ending is completely different than what it should have, than what it was originally. There's several different cuts for that movie that change everything.
So I don't know if you've ever seen it. Is this the cut that the studio wanted then?
So this is the cut that is technically because I watched this on on Amazon Prime. I watched it on HBO. This is the theatrical cut.
Yeah.
But Ridley Scott.
Not with the Zack Snyder Justice League.
Yeah, exactly. So Ridley Scott went back. And you can look up the deleted scenes on YouTube, but one of the scenes changes a lot. It shows you where, it shows you what happened to Blake and Dallas. They didn't get killed. They got brought and put inside this fucking egg.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was like they were trapped against a wall. They were harvesting they were harvesting more aliens.
Like in Alien vs Predators, because remember the alien it's caked onto the wall kind of.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was.
All right.
And so. Ripley walks into the room with the flamethrower.
Yeah.
And Dallas is like, "Kill me, please kill me,"
Yeah.
because it's sitting there just fucking eating its fucking insides.
Yeah.
And she flamethrows it.
I think
that changes a lot because
yeah.
it honestly adds like an extra level of holy shit. This is actually really scary. Like this thing is trying to harvest humans and create more of itself. Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I guess that's probably why, like we said earlier, it's the beauty. Like what makes this movie so great is what isn't shown.
Right.
So.
Right.
I mean, it sounds really cool.
Yeah, and even in that scene, you don't see the aliens. So that's another one that you don't see, but you do see what happens to them.
Yeah. What was your favorite scene?
Or
I'll say, what was your favorite? Yeah, what was your favorite scene?
From the time that John Hurt wakes up.
Yeah.
To the time where they're like creating plans to like figure out what to do.
Yeah.
And like from the time that John Hurt wakes up and then Dallas gets taken, there's like this heightened fear and like heightened awareness of everything. Like people go out in pairs and they're hitting every deck and they know that it's in the shafts. Because after it takes Blake, obviously it's at full strength because it shed its skin.
Mm-hmm.
Once you see that skin, that shit fucking gets to you because you're like, wow, okay, now it's growing. But yeah, I love that scene because the actors didn't know that it was going to pop out of his chest. They didn't know.
Okay, so that specific scene.
Yeah. Right. So, Ridley Scott's a lot like that, where he wants to get some genuine fear, some genuine reactions. And if you look back and watch that scene, people are just like, what the flying fuck?
So how do they do it?
Blood pops
do you know how they did it then?
What, that scene?
Yeah.
Well, I think they just had like when somebody gets shot in a movie.
Yeah. Oh, so
there's like a little thing that like bursts
blood
out.
Capsules?
Yeah.
Okay.
That, and then I'm not exactly sure.
Yeah.
How they did like the alien coming out of it, but like they didn't know. So
that's really cool.
Yeah, a lot of practical effects, which I'm a big fan of, like in the egg when he looks inside of it. I think IMDb said it was cow intestines that they had beating inside there, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, just the heightened paranoia from that point on, which is crazy. I mean, it's a small thing too. That's why they were trying to use like the density changing device, which is where the cat came out, and that's when Blake died. I think it's almost even scarier because they saw the teeth on it, but they know how small it is and what it can do.
And how quickly it moved.
Yeah, it just fucking flew out of there.
Yeah.
I just think it's like it's so scary for it to be so small.
Yeah.
And then it's just even scarier once it sheds its skin.
And
it's still lost. Yeah.
It just blows up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's like that's a really good scene. I like I like when Dallas is in the shafts.
Yeah.
And then like they're tracking his movement and then the movement of the alien.
Yeah.
And then the alien the beeper that's the alien goes off and they're like, where is it? And then you just see the beeper start going. The beep comes back, or the dot comes back, and it just shows it going really fast towards Dallas. So he tries to go away, and then he ends up climbing down. And then when he like shines his light one way, shines his light towards the camera, nothing. Shines it the other way, and the alien's right there. That was my favorite scene. I thought it was so. And then it just cuts right away.
Big jump scare.
I thought that was really sick.
Yeah.
And then you like, if you didn't watch the director's cut, then you don't know what happens to Dallas.
Right.
You assume he dies. And I guess that just adds to like the paranoia and the unknown aspect to the film.
It does.
I thought that was really cool.
Yeah.
Do you think a movie like this with a movie like this could be made today in the sense that there's a lot of unknowns, or like it doesn't show a lot? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm trying to say? In
terms of if you were trying to make a scary movie and not showing a lot. Sure, absolutely. Because, like we said earlier, if you want to make this movie as a science fiction, you can never do that because in a science fiction you want to see everything, and you want to see why the reasoning is behind you're moving in this direction, you're flying in that direction, you're doing this, you're fixing that, that's why Star Wars works because everything's fleshed out in that way. Yeah. Or like Interstellar. But for example, if you made this now as a scary movie. I think you could. I think you really could, and it would even be scarier because you can make the alien even scarier with like the way that they do it now with what they did now with the Covenant. They made the thing look like an animal. more than, like I said earlier, like the human. So I think they could.
Do you think they would have made the mistake of showing too much though? Because
possibly
probably one of the reasons they didn't show that much is because they couldn't. They probably didn't have the equipment or the technology then.
Right.
They probably had to shoot it a certain way so it didn't look like you said, a human in a suit.
Yeah.
So you think if they had the technology now, they would have just went full steam ahead with showing as much aliens as they possibly could.
Yeah, probably. Because also the way of filmmaking now, if you had the capacity to do it, you're probably going to, and so you would increase the budget by doing more CGI and all that stuff. So, and they always want to be in your face. I just think the way of filmmaking where things are like very low key and like taking their time and all that is in the past. Like it started.
Social media ruins it.
Yeah, it started with 2001, and I don't even know. It ended before social media because they don't do that now. Everything's in your face. There's a trailer for the trailer of the movie. You know what I mean? There's like a 5-second trailer for the trailer. And because you have to show everything before you even get interest in the movie. You know.
And they drop like the featurettes behind the scenes.
Right. So they show too much. I mean, if they were advertising this movie now, they could do it organically. They could just be like, there's a new threat in outer space or whatever.
Well, I mean, I love I think the slogan they used then, like, I think it still could apply now, just because, like, I mean, we still, like, really don't know what's out there.
Right.
I mean, obviously we have more knowledge now than we did in 1979.
Right.
But, like, the slogan, the catchphrase that, like, no one can hear you scream in space, like, that's still a really relevant concept.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I think that's another one of the great aspect of the film is that catchphrase or that slogan.
Yep.
So I think they could still use that today. And then I love the poster of just the black poster with the neon like slimy green of the just the egg.
Yeah. It's a great poster.
Yeah. I think that those, like, if they just did billboards of just that egg.
Yeah.
Just a black billboard with that egg, and then it just says like no one can hear scream space.
Right.
Like, exactly. I think that's a concept that could still work today.
Mm-hmm. I agree, and the only reason I would say no is just because they show too much, and they would want to show too much because that's the audience now. Because
they would probably I don't know if they would leak it themselves or if someone else would leak it, but I guess like the alien, the scene where John Hurt's character, the alien pops out of his chest, that would probably get leaked before.
Oh yeah,
and that's kind of like a really big pivotal scene in the movie.
Exactly. The Ian Holm would be in IMDb. It would be like Ian Holm, Ash / robot or some shit. You'd be able to know. Yeah. That's the same argument for the end of Seven. You know what I mean? When they advertised that movie, Kevin Spacey wasn't in anything. And when he was coming off, like we said earlier, the Usual Suspects, he was as big as can be from that. But
dude, there's only a cast of 8 in the film.
That's true. Yeah.
Just the cast of 9. So the 7 crew, then the woman who voices Mother.
Yeah. And
then the dude who wears the alien mask or the alien suit.
Yep.
It is rated 53 on IMDb's top 250.
Yeah.
So that's pretty high up there.
That's when you know.
And I think it's a little higher. It's a little higher than Aliens, the sequel to it.
Mm-hmm.
And it, and I guess too, like, this movie at the time it came out, because I feel like this movie came out now, it could sneak in like the Best Picture conversation, like how like The Martian did.
Yeah.
But I guess at the time, it's this movie is only appreciated for its effects.
Right.
Which is, I mean, you can see with the Oscar, it won the Oscar for Best Visual Effects and was nominated for Best Art Direction.
Right.
So, I guess the pro of it, if this movie came out today, there might be a greater appreciation for it.
Who were the Oscar noms that year? Excuse me.
For Best Picture?
I'll find it.
It only had 11. Its budget was $11 million, which isn't bad. Grossed 81 million domestic, 108 million worldwide. So that's pretty good numbers did pretty well for itself, I guess, as an original concept.
Right.
And then even Alien, the sequel, which is a much bigger movie. The stakes are a lot higher. They do a lot more with it. His budget wasn't even $20 million. So
interesting.
I thought his budget would be a lot more.
Okay, so this was a tough year for Best Picture. Apocalypse Now, All That Jazz, Breaking Away, Norma Ray, and Kramer vs. Kramer.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think anyone would have beaten Apocalypse. I mean, I don't think this would have beaten Apocalypse Now. Especially because it's a Coppola film. Right? It's Coppola?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think... Is this a movie that you'd want to see remade?
Oh, actually, Kramer vs. Kramer won Best Picture that year.
Oh, does it?
Do I want to see this remade now?
Like same characters,
same actors?
No. So like they recast. It's not like a It's not like a reboot. It's like they remake it.
Oh.
Same characters, pretty much the same story. Just I guess with better effects. Like maybe like a different. Same story, same characters, pretty much.
Yeah, I would watch that. I mean,
yeah.
I don't know who would I cast.
Do Brie Larson as
Ripley. I could see that.
I don't know. Probably I don't know. I would do I would have Denis Villeneuve.
Yeah.
I'd have him. I want him to direct it.
Yeah. I agree.
He'd be good at that.
I agree. Yeah, I also am just a big fan. I mean, like I said earlier, like I love the ship, but I also just love the management of the ship.
Mm-hmm.
Like just the pressing of specific buttons, like the nostalgic like font on the screen, like Mother talking back to them.
Yeah.
Like it just felt very like meticulously built. Like the sets are very very thought out. And then just like I said, like the slow moving tracking shots of people walking around the ship and everything. It's just like, he took his time with it, did what he wanted to do.
Yeah, I mean,
so. But yeah,
do you think where would you rank this movie in your all time? I know because we both had Usual Suspects in our top 20.
Right.
Do you think this would sneak in there in your top 20, or is it just too hard to tell?
Probably too hard to tell. I mean, this one and Aliens would be.
Yeah, I have to watch Aliens again.
Yeah, honestly, we'll have to do Aliens at some point because I would put Aliens like and Alien pretty close together.
Yeah. I think Alien.
It's top 30, but I'd say top 30.
Top 30, yeah.
Give it another 10 in there.
I mean, there's so many movies. It's kind of hard to narrow it down.
Right.
But even this and then Aliens is kind of like the same conversation that people have about Terminator and Terminator 2.
Right.
Because a lot of people say Terminator 2 is better. I think
Godfather 2.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I think
Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah. I guess I always think Terminator. I always compare the two because James Cameron's with both. Because he did Aliens and then he did both Terminators.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like sci-fi. But yeah, great movie. It's a very good I think it's an underappreciated Halloween movie. Not a lot of people think of it as like a scary Halloween movie. But I think it fits the season. Try to stray away from like the stereotypical Halloween movies like Halloween.
Yeah, if it's a scary movie, it's a Halloween movie for sure. I mean, you can get away with watching a scary movie every weekend and before Halloween. So, but yeah, so awesome movie. Big fan of Ridley Scott. We'll be doing more of his. Like I said, he's a 5-generation guy.
Yeah, we'll probably do Aliens too at some point.
Yeah, well, we're gonna do Aliens too at some point.
The other 5, not really sure.
Yeah,
we'll see. Maybe
Aliens 3, definitely not.
Maybe Covenant and Prometheus.
Yeah,
because those were good. I like those.
Yeah, and then Alien vs Predator. Just
we could do it. Well, David Fincher did Alien 3, so we might have to show him some love and just do that one.
Did you know that almost ruined his career? Like he almost said like fuck this. I'm
That was
not
one-
making
that was-
movies
that was
anymore.
before-
I'm going back to music videos. That's what he said.
That was before 7, right?
Yeah, that was.
That's probably his first movie.
Actually, it might have been.
Probably was, right?
So this was 92.
Yeah, 7 was 95. So that had to be his first movie. One of his first major movies.
I mean, he was a big music video guy before. That's what I do know that.
Well, thank God he didn't give up. Cause
I know. Where is it? Director. I think that is basically his first one.
that was his first like feature film.
Anyway, so next week.
What do you have? Yeah, let's hear it.
All right, next week we will be watching another 1995 movie,
Oh.
Heat.
Oh.
Yeah, baby.
That's a long movie.
A little bit of Pacino, a little bit of De Niro. It's 2 hours 50 minutes.
It's a long movie.
Yeah, it's pretty long.
Yeah, looking forward to it. Have you seen it before?
Oh yeah.
All right, I've seen it too. I guess I'll have to watch it again.
Big Michael Mann fan.
All right, yeah,
We got this.
Oh
right.
yeah. So
we'll see you next week.
Got to get you out of